So you see all the content creators on YouTube herd managing, some of your friends are getting into it and you really want to try herd management for yourself, but every single video on the internet is literally like the dictionary. 2 miles long, extremely difficult to understand with a bunch of language that is literally like a different language, and you just want a simple explanation of what you need to do to herd manage your Great One grind. Well, herd management, at least proper AMAC HM, is really not that complicated of a thing to do, and it will give you a map like this where almost every single zone has diamonds in it, an increased Great One rate, meaning with a properly herd managed antlered species grind, a 1 in 200 to 1 in 800 Great One rate, and a diamond rate that could literally get as low as 1 in 5. Believe me, because my friend Mac right now, who pretty much teaches me everything about herd management, has a 1 in 2 diamond rate for fallow deer. That is a 1 in 2 diamond rate. Every zone has a diamond in it. It is insane, man. So yeah, you guys can build confidence. Your information is going to be coming from arguably the best Great One grinder in the Hunter Call of the Wild here in today's video. Quite literally the inventor of herd management by weight by score, AMAC, the dude who writes up all of the Extreme HM FAQs over in my Discord server where there's text format explanations, a little bit of an advanced format. It might be a little bit too advanced for some of the people watching this video, but it is an option and a resource that's available where he explains to you guys absolutely everything you need to do to herd manage every single grind in the game. So without further ado, guys, wasting no more of you guys' time, let's go ahead and dive into the guide. Okay, so if you want to herd manage your grind, I take it you already know how to set up your Great One grind. You've found your zones, you've picked your main zones, you know what your exteriors and main zones are, and just to simplify that a little bit, you found all your drink zones, you've picked zones you want to hunt with your tents and tripods, and literally every other zone that you're not set up on is an exterior zone. A little bit less complicated there. Once you get to that point in your Great One grind, you can then begin your herd management. So the very first step of herd management is going to get max level animals stacked into your main zones. Now again, those main zones are the zones you set up tents and tripods on. This is where I would suggest that you reference the Extreme HM FAQ, because you can have some really good information just wrote down on paper for you there. Certain grinds you want more or less main zones for. For example, for fallow deer, you typically want to have like 10 to 12 main zone setups with tents and tripods. For wolves, you want like 10. For moose, it's 10. You know, that number will vary, so just make sure you reference the Extreme HM FAQ in my Discord server for your specific grind. Now, to get max level animals or diamonds stacked in your main zones, we're going to talk about why we're doing this here in a second. First, you just need to understand that this is what you need to do as step 1. To get those max level or diamonds left in your main zones, what you need to do is simply shoot them. Pay no attention to what type of animals you need to leave. In a main zone or a zone that has a tent and tripod on it that you're set up on, you should never leave any animal, even if it is the smallest animal you've ever seen. Never leave any animal at any time besides diamonds. Max level guaranteed diamonds. Leaving small animals like this one in a main zone will reverse herd manage your map. So just take note that if this is a main zone and that's a small animal, it needs to die. And you want to leave these diamonds in your main zones until you have roughly 10 to 15 on your map, depending on what grind it is. If it's a grind like the wolves, stacking 15 diamonds will not be that difficult of a thing to do. If it's a grind like the fallow deer, stacking frickin' 20 diamonds is actually a really easy thing to do. And again, you just simply stack these diamonds in your mains or leave these diamonds in your mains by shooting the deer from them, the males obviously. And you need to continue shooting the males until I would say you have at least 1 diamond in every single zone on your map. Most of mine have 2 or more. And a little tip if you're having a really hard time spawning diamonds in your main zones or the zones you're set up on, if you're like 150 kills in with 1 diamond spawned, that tells me there's something wrong. 95% of the time what's going on for players is in exterior zones or the zones that you're not set up on with tents and tripods, you have a great big 4, using fallow deer as an example obviously. If it were a species that goes to 9 legendary, it'd be a big 7, 8, or possibly a 9, so on and so forth, right? Or you have a diamond in an exterior zone. If you have a diamond in an exterior zone or a zone you're not set up on, for example this zone here, I'm not set up on it, it's a completely random zone. If I had a diamond there that I didn't know about, that would quite literally be reverse herd management once again. Having a diamond in that zone will make it so that way small animals spawn in the zones that I'm set up on. You have to think about the population on your map like a scale. When there's big animals on the map, more small animals spawn. It off-balances the population, like an off-balancing scale. That whole skill premises is what this entire guide will be based upon, so really comprehend that there. Typically having one diamond in a zone you don't know about, or an exterior zone, is not going to make that big of a difference, but it will make a difference. And when you get several of them, or a diamond and a bunch of big animals, high-level animals, that's when you'll really start to see a difference, and you might get hundreds of kills in without spawning diamonds. So a little recap for step 1, in those zones that you're set up on, get diamonds stacked, meaning leave the diamonds until you have at least a diamond in every single setup. Okay, so now that you guys understand that in those zones that you're set up on, aka your main zones, you need to leave those max level guaranteed diamonds, let's talk a little bit more about why. So the reason you want to leave those diamonds in your mains, once again, is to off-balance the population on your map. You need to think about your deer population, your wolf population, your moose population, as kind of a scale. When there's more big animals on your map, big meaning max level guaranteed diamonds, as those are like the biggest animals you can spawn besides great ones, and believe me, you can stack great ones, it's just extremely difficult. When you have several of those big animals on your map, obviously the right hand side of the scale will go up, where those big animals are. Your animals are getting bigger in general. You have 15 diamonds on your map. And what happens to the left side? The left side being every single zone on your map besides the zones you're set up on, aka your exterior zones. It goes down. The animals get smaller, which is the goal with herd management. You want every single deer in the zones you're set up on, with tents and tripods, to be big. Not always going to be max levels, but you want to have a max level rate. With proper herd management, you can usually get like a 1 in 6 diamond rate, if not less. Anything less than 1 in 20 will increase your great one rate. And in those exterior zones, or those zones you're not set up on, they're all eventually going to become minimum weight animals. Now again, you're going to want to reference the Extreme HM FAQ in my Discord server to figure out what this is for you guys. For mule deer, for example, you're going to want to leave all deer in exterior zones or zones you're not set up on that have the minimum weight estimate of 105 to 140. For fallow deer, you're going to want to leave all level 2s, it does not matter the estimate. For red deer, you're going to want to leave level 4s and below. See, it varies for each grind. Just take note of that. But just for more clarity here, the reason we stack those diamonds is to make that process of filling those zones we're not set up on, aka our exterior zones with small minimum weight animals, easier. You could completely ignore the stacking process if you wanted to and don't stack any diamonds in your main zones. But the thing is, it will probably take you over a year IRL time to get all of the zones you're not set up on filled with those small minimum weight animals. Why? Because there's no big animals on your map to off-balance the scale. You're relying on pure luck. And you guys wouldn't believe me if I told you, but I literally just explained herd management to you. That's it. That's all there is, guys. That's all there is. It's that simple. No overcomplicated crap. If you need to, slow the video down and rewatch it up to this point. That is herd management. Now, there's a little bit more information that people try to toss in right in the middle of explaining you stuff, and the video becomes a big cluster ball. It's not an organized process. It's a mental thing. Herd management is mentally super easy to explain. I just explained it to you in probably less than 5 minutes. I don't know, time goes quick when I'm playing the game though. There is more information that you do need to listen to and stay for, and if you don't follow it, will screw up your grind, but that is herd management right there. That is all you need to understand to herd manage. There is little ifs and buts though, so stay tuned a minute. Take the notes, pull out a pencil paper, rewatch the video up to this point if need be, and comprehend everything I just told you. I'll go slower one last time. In your main zones, or the zones that you're set up on, with tents and tripods, for example, this is a main zone, this is a main zone, this is a main zone. See, pretty easy to understand. This is a main zone, yeah. In those zones, right when you first get your grind set up, assuming you've watched a Great One guide where I talk about, find your zones, pick your main zones, set up, look at the Extreme HM FAQ, certain grinds will be 10, 12, etc. Right. The first thing that you should do after you get set up, I notice a lot of people will set up and they're just kind of like, what do I do? The very first thing you should do is start rotating through your main zones. Start hunting your main zones over and over and over again until you start to spawn diamonds. You want to try to get at least a diamond in every single main zone, preferably more. I would say 10 to 15 diamonds is really where you start to see a difference when you begin your herd management. Again, if you're having a hard time spawning diamonds in your main zones, that means you have a big animal or a diamond or several in zones you're not set up on. Again, we'll use this zone as an example, or you know what, screw it, let's use a different zone as an example. This is a fallow zone up here. I could have a couple big 4s or a 5 medium up here that would make it so that way it's very difficult to spawn diamonds in the zones I'm set up on, because again, that scale is already off balanced from the base game. You may have to go shoot that trophy off. Go shoot those big deer off, and then your population will level back out. Get those diamonds stacked in those main zones, and as soon as you have like 10, probably about 10 on your map, then you can start running exterior zones, or the zones you're not set up on. And what I mean by running is simply going to them and hunting them. It's that simple. Again, reference the Extreme HM FAQ for what you should leave and what you should shoot in your exteriors. For fallow deer, you want to leave level 2s and shoot everything above. So here I am running exterior zones. I got a zone up here that's an exterior, zone up here that's an exterior, zone up here, all the way down this whole bottom coast, all the way up this river, all exterior zones. If just say, for example, I run into a level 3 up here, I will shoot it. If I run into a level 2 up here at this zone, then I will leave it. And that's the process that I take on every single zone that I'm not set up on. And the goal is to have all zones you're not set up on filled with level 2s for the fallow deer grind. That simple. Now, like I said a minute ago, there is little ifs and buts for your Great One grinds. Solos are a big thing that we're going to talk about here in a second. Look at this, level 2, we're leaving him. Solos are a big thing that we're going to talk about here in a second because a lot of grinds do have solos, and they can be a pain, so we're going to talk about those here in a minute. But it's very, very important that you guys do read the Extreme HM FAQ because, for example, here a second ago I just said that, you got to leave all level 2s in your exterior zones or the zones you're not set up on for fallow deer, correct? Well, if you leave all level 2s, which is an extremely difficult thing to do, but if you actually manage to do it, you can overherd manage. So the workaround for that is to leave 6 level 3s on your map specifically, no more, no less. To have a maximum estimate of 145 or below to avoid overherd managing. 6 level 3s, that estimate, that was fine-tuned and tested over months and months and months of testing by AMAC, who is literally, in my opinion, the best Great One grinder of all time. In the sense of numbers, he's number 1. There's nobody in the Call of the Wild community that has more Great Ones than him. And all of those little ifs and buts for your Great One grinds can be found in reference in the Extreme HM FAQ. So lastly here in today's guide, we're going to talk about solos. If you've watched a Great One guide, I'm pretty dang sure you know what solo zones are. For example, these are solos right here. Solos are zones that are males, only males, and have no females in them. It can be 1 male, it can be 10 males. If the zone is only males, it's a solo zone. And you can make sure that it's a solo zone by running up to it and looking for the need zone indicator. Oh, look at this, guys. Perfect example. There's a solo right there. He's a level 4. I have all those diamonds in my main zone, so when I shoot this level 4, hopefully he'll come back small. See, he's a 4, he's a solo, he's an exterior, he's gotta die. This is the perfect time for me to tell you that solos are exterior zones. Think of solos as exterior zones, because they are. You never want to set up on a solo zone. This was explained in the Great One guide for whatever it is that you watch. I say that in every Great One guide. I got confidence I did. If it's mule deer, I said don't set up on solos. Fallow deer, I said don't set up on solos. Moose, I said don't set up on solos, etc. If it's a solo zone, it's an exterior zone, and treat it exactly how I just did. As you guys seen, I had 2 level 2s here. I left the level 2s because in exterior zones for fallow deer, that's what you're supposed to leave. I spotted a level 4 that just spawned in, and I shot it in hopes of it coming back as a level 2. It's that simple. Nothing else to overcomplicate. Treat solos just as you would exterior zones, just without the females. The only thing is that 4 that I just shot is now going to come back somewhere completely random on my map, is when you shoot a solo zone, it vanishes and comes back somewhere completely random. I've seen a lot of people say you'll then need to go find the respawn of that level 4 and continue to shoot it until it eventually comes back as a level 2. Don't worry about that. Listen, all you need to do is when you're running exterior zones, for example, I'm running the coast right now, and I just spotted that level 4 solo. That could have been a solo that I shot all the way up here. He could have been shot from these twin lakes here. That solo could have been shot on the side of this lake over here that always has solos on him. But you want to know something crazy? I still found it. You don't need to worry about where he respawns at. All you need to worry about is thoroughly running your exterior zones at the zones you're not set up on. And you will find your solos. For example, I just shot this level 4 solo here. He could respawn, I don't know, up here on the side of this lake, for example, again. And the next time I go around the side of that lake, believe it or not, I'll find it. Might not find it here in the next 5 minutes, but you know what? Herd management is a time-consuming process. And sorry, I got rudely interrupted there and kind of got off track. This is the need zone indicator. You hover over it, and as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, it says there's 1 deer drink in here. That shows that it's a solo zone. And you'll notice there's another indicator right there, but they're both part of the same zone. So if I scooch over to here, that's probably the one that's laying dead up there. I spot this. 1. This is a solo zone. For grinds that have solos like red deer, fallow deer, mule deer, moose, the process is all the same. Solos are exterior zones, never set up on them, but if you see a shooter while you're running exteriors, you need to shoot it. and continue doing that process until they all are eventually non-shooters, depending on what it is for your grind. Again, fallow deers are 2, mule deers are minimum weight 105 to 140, etc. All that information is written down in my Discord. Repeat that process until you can't find any more solos, because all your solos look like this. They're all tiny. This isn't a solo zone, but it's a male for an example, right? And once all of your herd zones and all of your solo zones have animals you can't shoot in them because they're all levers, guess what? Your herd managed. It's at this point where you can shoot the diamonds out of your main zones that you had stacked originally, and what you'll notice that'll happen is you will spawn an insane amount of max weight and big level animals, which is just an enjoyable thing to look at in general in the zones you're set up on. You'll spawn more diamonds, you'll spawn way bigger rares, and you'll spawn more great ones, which is the goal, right? But hey, thank you guys all so much for watching. If this video did in fact help you guys out, let me know down below by smashing that like button and subscribing. As a 16-year-old content creator trying to reach 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, your support is very, very much appreciated. You guys are crushing it. I think we're going to be at 50k before deer season, which is absolutely insane to think about. We're probably going to break 100,000 subscribers next year, which is nuts. You guys are absolute legends, man. I love you guys to the moon and back. You truly are the best Call of the Wild community on the internet. The most helpful, the most kind, the most thoughtful, the most detailed. Just in general, the Squid Gang is goated, and that is because of you guys. Join the Discord server, link down below in the description. As always, my name is Squid, you're watching Squidster Gaming, and we'll catch you guys in the next banger. Peace out, my gamers.